It's time for the DC Podcast.
No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 4 of the DC Cast. This one, completely different style. No set topics. Gonna see how this goes. Thought I'd do one randomly. 2 days in a row I've done one, so that's different. Usually I've done them about a week apart. So enjoy. This is just a random talking DC Cast. No set topics. No real structure at all. I'm just gonna talk. Sometime last week, I'm not sure what day it was, I picked up Civilization 5. Oh, that's a Sid Meier's game. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I'm sure people know what Civilization is. This game's been around since like the 90s, I think. So this is Volume 5 of Civilization. Anyways, so I've been playing it, not too much, a little bit. I've been playing it a little bit. This is one of the most goddamn confusing fucking games I've ever played in my life. It's like Age of Empires, if people know what that is. It's like Age of Empires on fucking crack. There's so many different... So I guess the reason I'm saying this is video games, different types of video games that I enjoy. And so with buying this game, there's a lot of structure to it. There's a lot of strategy. You have to know what you're doing and how to play, what different things mean. I mean, there's like, I don't know how many. I'm going to say 25 different civilizations. There could be more. There could be less. But I'm going to say there's 25 civilizations. They all have their own strengths, weaknesses. They all play to a different style of game. They all have their own style of game that best suits their attributes. Now, playing games like this, playing games like Civilization 5 and playing games, I believe XCOM is sort of like this, and even Age of Empires to an extent. They're more sit down, take an hour. For Civilization, you got to take like 12 hours to complete one game. But games like this, it's more of a serious sit down, really concentrate, really get away from It's a game where you have to be fully committed. You can't just hop in, play for 10 minutes, and leave. You can't play for half an hour. Well, you could, but it doesn't really work like playing 20 minutes, playing like a sports game for 20 minutes and then getting off. This is a game where you have to really focus on what you're doing, because every move really has an effect. And at certain stages of the game, this is when you start doing, this is when you start moving troops to other civilizations, or this is when, you should start building roads to go attack other civilizations, start becoming allies with certain civilizations. There's just so much involved in a game like this that it only caters, as do every game, but this game especially, it only caters to certain people. It's a big game. A lot of people play it, but I don't think a lot of people want to spend 6 to 12 hours playing one game. It's like playing a week 1 NFL game for 12 hours. That's what it's like. It's playing one game within the game for 6 to 12 hours, approximately 6 to 12 hours. That's depending on how big the maps you're playing, how many people you're playing with. There's a lot of variables. And I played for a little bit this past week, and never played before, never really looked into it. And it's confusing. It's fun, but it's also a real commitment to become good at this game. It's like, in order to become good at this game, you probably have to put in 30 to 50 hours to somewhat know what you're doing, because I've heard other people play for... I've heard people play that have played for 125 hours, and they still don't know everything. They still don't know everything involved in this game. And that's sort of why it only caters to a few people. Because not everybody is looking for a video game that's going to challenge them mentally and make them have to think. A lot of people just want to play video games to kill shit, or to, play a sports game where you can kind of take your mind off things and just kind of unwind at the end of the day. But a game like this, it requires so much focus and so much mental power. It's really not like any normal video game. There's a lot of turn-based strategy games out there, but I'd say this is probably one of the most in-depth I've ever played. And I haven't played too many, but I have played some. And this is one of the most involved ones I've ever played. It's a good game so far, though. I mean, if you have friends who know what they're doing, I'd imagine it's a lot of fun. Me and a buddy just kind of started together at the same time, so we both were kind of new at the same time. But it was a good game. But the reason I bring it up, the reason I'm talking about, the reason I brought up Civilization is because I'm more of a sports game kind of guy. I'm more of a shooter, a game that's simpler, a game that doesn't involve so much of the mental side of things. It's not that I don't want to be challenged, but it's games like sports games, Call of Duty, Battlefield, you name it. Games like that, first-person shooters, sports games, that sort of genre, racing games. Those are games where you can just kind of unwind. And you just kind of go through the motions, you play it, you have fun, you do everything you can do in the game. Even games like Far Cry, open world games, Skyrim, those are games where it takes a little bit more effort, but you're also just playing a video game. This one Civilization seems more of a game where it's a commitment. You play it because you love it, because if people don't like these kinds of games, you don't play it. That being said, a lot of video games are like that. If you don't like it, you're not going to play it, but especially these ones. Civilization is a good game. Civilization is a fun game, but it also only caters to certain people. I picked it up at Walmart, actually. They had a good deal, and it came with XCOM, and it was called the Definitive Strategy Collection, so I'm assuming XCOM is another turn-based strategy game, or a strategy game similar. I don't think it's as in-depth as Civilization 5. But yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of Civilization. I won't say a lot. Single player, it kind of walks you through, so you really get to know the things. And it's funny because I watched an introduction video. It was called How to Play Civilization for Beginners. And the video was kind of a brief run through of everything in the game. And the video this guy made on YouTube was 120 minutes. Or, sorry, an hour and 20 minutes. So a little bit less than 120. But it was an hour and 20 minutes, and it was just briefly going over different aspects of Civilization. This game is huge. There's so much in this. There's so much knowledge you have to successfully play this game. And it's impressive. People who play this game, people who actually know what they're doing and have played enough, it's impressive, because it takes a real fucking commitment to become good at this game, and it takes a lot of time. And unfortunately, games like this, I buy it thinking I'm going to play it all the time. I don't have 3 hours every day to play these kind of games. One, I'm really too tired at the end of the day to put my mind into something like this, to play a game like this. Because just to learn the game takes that much more effort than actually playing. Then it's different if you have to learn it than if you already know what you're doing. But I'll get the hang of it, I guess. It's a game that might go up on my second channel. I guess my first channel. This is technically my second channel. But for those of you guys who don't know, I have a second channel called Monty Magnum. YouTube.com/Monty Magnum. And that's where I put all my gaming videos. Whether or not Civilization will be on there, it could. Civilization is a game that very well could possibly go on there. It's probably a game where you do a live comm instead. You don't really talk over games like this because the gameplay is going to be anywhere from like half an hour to an hour long. So yeah, if you guys haven't, go check out my the link will be in the description. My other YouTube account, youtube.com/Monty Magnum. That's where I have all my gaming videos and all my other vlogs and such. Speaking of links in the description, there will be another link in the description if you want to donate. imraising.com/the DC Cast. If you guys go over there and check it out, you guys can donate to my podcast. And the donations will go to costs such as equipment, possible future giveaways, depending on what kind of money gets raised, if any. But it's a sign of appreciation for the podcast. I put some effort into these, and who knows? Sometime down the road, this might become a job. Who knows? I'm just giving options for people to show appreciation if they enjoy. I've gotten some feedback from one specific YouTuber quite a bit. I believe his name is FireMax11 or 111. He's in my featured videos, so go check him out if you're interested in I think he plays a lot of Minecraft. He's got, I don't know where he's from. He's got some sort of, I think, European accent. I should ask him because I don't know where he's from. But go check out his videos. It's in my featured channels. I believe it's in both featured channels, in both YouTube accounts, the DC Cast and Monty Magnum. So go check him out. Yeah, click the link and click the 2 links in the description. My channel, maybe I'll put his in there if I remember. And the I'm Raising. It's just the I'm Raising is just, if you appreciate it, if you like the cast, throw in $1, throw in $2, whatever you can. Everything's really appreciated. Whatever you can. If you can't, that's fine. Hit that like button instead. Anyways, moving on. I gotta get outside today. Today's it's so nice out and I haven't done anything. I've been trying to talk to friends and whatnot, see if they want to do anything, but nothing today. It's gotta be like 25 degrees outside right now. It's 1 o'clock as I'm doing this. I might go golfing later. 21 right now. It's 1 o'clock. Sunny, not a cloud in the sky. What I'm probably going to do is go to Best Buy and see what kind of electronics I can waste my money on. Because every time I go out, I'm always spending money on something for a microphone, something for the computer, something for the channel, something for my TV. It's a little out of control. I'm always spending money on it. My channel and my computer, that is. What I really need is I need an external hard drive. That's what I need. I need an external hard drive and a USB hub. That's what I really need. Those 2 things will. The external hard drive, one, because my terabyte on my computer is nearly full. I have like 200 gigabytes of my terabyte left, and I've only had this computer for about a year, which is pretty normal with all the games I've downloaded and such, but it's getting full and it's getting slow. I got to speed up my computer somehow. I got to clean out my PC and really do a thorough clean of everything. It's getting to the point where it's very bogged down. Not uncontrollably, but the thing that I notice the most is when I go to start it up. It takes a while to start up. Once it gets going, it's okay. But that initial boot up process, I think I just have too much program to open when it boots up. I think that's part of the reason why things are a little bogged down. But I'll figure it out and I'll get things worked out. Anyway, I saw I think I already talked about this on one of the. Maybe not. Yeah, I did. I saw I think my first episode was about the Spider-Man movie. But it's funny. I was watching another podcast that I frequently watch, Painkiller Already. Excuse me. And they had this guest on today, and he was he has a YouTube channel. I think it's about 100,000 subscribers. I think his channel is yourmoviesuck.org. And his YouTube URL is youtube.com/yourmoviesuck. Dot is spelled out DOT org. And he basically rips into every movie on the face of the earth. His channel is based around picking out every single detail, every single flaw in every single movie, and making a huge deal of it. It's really funny, actually. He goes on these huge rants, and he has got tons of movie reviews. He's probably been doing this for a while. But they were talking about the Spider-Man one today, and he was on Painkiller Already, and he was talking about Spider-Man. And I watched his Spider-Man video, and he goes into such detail, like as if it wasn't a movie, as if this was an actual real life event. How these things put together, obviously it's a movie, and things are going to happen in sequence, as crazy as they may be. But he takes it as if it's real life, and his interpretation is like, well, what are the odds this is here, and what are the odds this is here? He does a good job, though. He does, he picked out. It wasn't on the Spider-Man movie, but he talked about. Well, I think one of the characters in the movie had like a speech impediment or something, and he rips into him. He's like, this guy can't even pronounce his name right, his character's name right. And he goes into great detail of absolutely ripping all these movies apart. And some of these movies are fucking phenomenal. But he says as well, he says, just because I rip into the movie doesn't mean I don't like it. Which makes sense. There's a lot of flaws in things that you may or may not like. If you love, I'm going to bring this back to football because I'm a Patriots fan. And I'm a huge Patriots fan. But there's tons of flaws with that team. There's tons. And I'd be crazy to say that there isn't. So what he says makes sense. He says, you know what, just because I rip into the movie, just because I point out a lot of its flaws doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. And that was the point. The podcast he's on, Painkiller Already, they said, some of these movies that you're ripping into, I don't agree with at all. I love these movies. These are good movies. These are movies that I really enjoyed. And then he followed with that. He said, just because I'm tearing apart, just because I'm pointing out a lot of these movies' flaws, doesn't mean I'm not enjoying the movie. And I thought that was a good point, because, like I said, I'm a New England fan, and I'd be crazy to think that that just because I love them, there's no flaws with the movie. There's obvious flaws in everything, whether you like it or whether you don't. There's obvious flaws in everything. So he made a good point. He makes a lot of good points. He's got a really good channel. I'd go check him out if I were you. If you're into those sort of rant type videos, he's got a good channel. Go check him out. Moving along. It's already been about 20 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Comment if you guys are still here. Comment. Let me know. Do you guys enjoy these videos? Do you guys enjoy random talking videos such as this? I usually will try to have a structured video. I'll have topics written out. But I don't know. I felt like getting on and making one today, and didn't have any topics ready. It's not very often that I'm ever gonna do 2 in a row. Because I think it's a good idea to spread it out. I've had the urge a lot lately to do it 2 days in a row, because I do really enjoy doing this. So you never know. This may be a 2 to 3 times a week sort of deal. And I'm also thinking of incorporating video. Not video like me looking into the camera video, but a video kind of offset. So you're looking at me from a different angle where I'm not actually talking to you. It's more like you're just watching me do my podcast, which I think is a cool concept. You see a lot of guys on TV, sports radio, and even YouTube podcasts, radio podcasts. They do a lot where they have cameras in the background watching them talk. Joe Rogan does it. There's another one that does it. It's another radio one. Joe Rogan's just a straight podcast. But I think it's a cool idea because you have a visual of what's going on as well. So maybe if you hear something drop, you can, you'll say, oh, okay, I think it kind of adds that I'm not blind feel. When you're watching a podcast and something happens and you hear something, it's like, oh, I wonder what that was. I wonder what just happened there. But, when you're seeing it, you know what's happening. It kind of adds that when you don't know what happens, it's kind of like a trapped feel. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird feel. If you know what happens, if you know why that noise, I'm just ranting, but if you know why that noise happened, I don't know, people may enjoy that better because there's probably going to be a lot of random noises in this video because I'm flipping shit and, you might, and then if I had the video, you could see the pen. You could see the pen that I'm flipping and dropping. And then you'll know, okay, he's flipping a pen. Maybe if you don't see it, you're like, why the fuck is there that fucking noise all the time? Is he flipping a fucking pen? Or is he beating off on his desk? I don't know, because I can't fucking see. That's my point, right? Am I beating off? Or am I flipping a pen? You'll never know, because I don't have any video. So maybe down the road I'll have some video so that you know I'm not beating off. And you know that I'm just flipping my pen. Anyways, thanks for watching episode 4 of the DC Cast. YouTube.com/Monty Magnum. I'mRaising.com/the DC Cast. Go check both those out. Pledge $1,000 each. And I'll buy you a free Xbox One. For $1,000, ladies and gentlemen, I will buy you a free Xbox One. Thanks for watching. Peace!